Okay, we're going to try this again, this time without the copyright strike. So, I'm reviewing this GooDee GP90 projector, which is the same thing as the Vivibright GP90 and Sunbeamer, same thing. My thoughts on this projector is, it is a pretty good projector. I only paid $80 for it from eBay. I've seen it on different sites for anywhere from like 130 to 175. If you're really stupid, you could probably go and find it for like 300 and something dollars, I think, from Hong Kong. But if you don't know, you don't know. But anyway, my review and my thoughts on this projector are that it is decent. Right now I have it on a 95-inch screen, diagonal image, using it as my computer monitor. Well, I'm using it really to play videos, but through the PC. And right now you see my desktop because I can't quite show you what I want to. But I will tell you this. In order to make this projector look really halfway decent, you need to go into the settings, color temperature under user, and bump up everything. It comes at 50 for all the values. You need to take the red and put it on 80, around there, and the green on 75, and the blue on 90. That's for the color temperature. And for the picture mode, I have my contrast on 20, brightness 52, color 73, sharp 50. Tint in this option you can't mess with, it stays on 50. But this works well for me. A lot of people talk about knocking down the values down to the 40s and mid 40s for your what is that called again? Your color temperature. But don't do that, because it really washes out the picture. Now, what I will say is that as far as 720p goes, this projector is good. The flaws of the projector really isn't the resolution. 720p is sufficient for most things I'm looking at. The problem is the lack of a contrast ratio, a good one. So you don't have enough colors to be displayed to fill in for the image. The projector is basically duplicating colors within a small spectrum. So you may only have like 500 colors to choose from, as opposed to 2,000 or 5,000. So what happens is, when you're looking at people in some scenes, it looks as though they're sunburnt. It's not an oversaturation of red. It's not really the red value at all. It's just the projector only has but so many color or shades of red that it can project. And so it kind of looks faded. Or not faded, it looks oversaturated when it really isn't. The other thing I noticed about this projector is that it does not display pictures well. Let me grab my mouse here. Pictures look extremely washed out. Here's a picture that I own. So, actually, I have a house that I bought. But because of the lack of contrast, you really can't see. It's just like a bland white. It's not really much dark. The detail from 720p is not the issue. Like the grass is not as green or as brown as it should be. You're just seeing a lot of bright white, a lot of gray, and it's just not a good image. So this projector is not good for JPEGs or any type of picture. Watching a movie, playing a game, it's fine. Yeah, so it's good. What else did I want to talk about? So here's another picture as an example. The phone that I'm recording from, I look through the screen, is making this look a whole lot better than it does when I'm actually looking at it. This picture really isn't that bad, but it's nowhere near something that you're going to see with the television set. It's just two totally different technologies, even though they're both LED. Another thought about this projector is that the fan is too loud. The fan is loud, but to me it's tolerable. The speaker that comes built in with the projector actually is pretty good. I don't see a reason to hook up an external speaker. I just use this one only. Or I use the headphones through my PC to listen to what I'm listening to. But I find the speaker to be more than adequate. It's definitely loud. You know, I'm not trying to have a house party. I'm not playing, you know, FLAC files and all that. I'm just watching movies on the big screen. So the speaker is adequate. The inputs are pretty good. I do wish it had component directly in, but it doesn't. But the two HDMI ports and the two USB ports do function very well. This projector does not accept Dolby audio, you know, 5.1 or whatever. So if you're watching something with that, you'll still get the video, but you won't have any audio. And from where my projector is, I'm about 9 feet from it, and I'm getting a 95-inch screen. I went to Home Depot and bought some board. It came in an 8-foot by 4-foot piece. It was like $8.50 per piece, and I painted that flat white with some Glidden paint, and I'm getting pretty good results. I think this is a good projector. I think that all of these little Chinese projectors are pretty much the same, give or take 5%. The GP100 has a slight improvement. The CL760, you know, and the Alpha Ys, those also do slightly different things, but basically they're all the same. Like I said, one you might get better contrast, this one might be brighter, but it's really, I believe, a 5% difference from me looking at all these videos and reading up on these projectors. I think that they're all pretty much the same. It's just a matter of how the remote is, if you want a complicated remote for TV and other stuff, or whether it's Android or not, or you know, whether it's really bright or it has a better contrast, or just how the box looks. So that's that. Next I'm going to show you, oh, by the way, I'm showing you this video in total darkness. Let me show you what it looks like in the light. So here I am with some ambient lighting. Now, to help out my projector screen, just so you know, I'm in my garage here, but I painted around it with a matte blue, which is what I was using for my porch paint, but it works very well in darkening the image. Also, even though I have the projector pretty centered, it still is off a little bit. It is slightly fuzzy on the corners. I have a keystone back a little. You still can read it. And this projector is never going to be 100% perfect, but it is pretty decent. And the ambient light, you can view it, but it is best in the dark. Overall, my thoughts are, for the money, you really can't beat the projector. It's pretty good, and I think it's a good buy. I did a lot of research on these things. It's definitely not a $500 projector or anywhere near that, but it is good for under $200. So that's my review of the GooDee GP90. One of these days, maybe I'll invest in buying a different one. I'm waiting for maybe the GP110 or 120, whatever they come out with as a new thing, to see how they improve these things that they're making in China. We can't be that far away from 1080p, but quite frankly, I would just settle for a better processor or chip or whatever. That way you can do a better contrast ratio.